It's funny because you're the first guest that my parents know. So like yo, you're interviewing Shaggy, like yeah. So I'm finally cool to my parents.
Dude. I'm just trying to be cool. I'm just trying to be cool to my kids, man. That's it. I don't give a shit no more.
My dad was legit like he wanted to meet you after this. So I was like, we could do that too. But
is your dad here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, cause you've been.
I fucking got you something too, and I forgot it because this hot piece of blonde showed up, and she was like, "Let's go eat dinner." But I got you a gift.
Is it in the car?
Is it what?
Is it in the car?
No, it's at my house because she came and we immediately left. But I tell you, though, I'm gonna get it to you.
Is it a surprise? You want to tell me what it is?
I'll tell you what it is at the end.
Okay.
But you're not gonna. It won't be off camera anymore. What I'm gonna give you, you're gonna have up here somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's a
like
limited
that?
edition. No one has it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited now.
And I told Kyle about it before I left. I said, "Yo, I want to give this to him." He's like, "Yo, he'll fucking flip."
Kyle, that's Can Rock, right?
Yep.
Okay.
He's like, "Yo, flip." So like, I literally, she comes to the house and I go to put it in my car, and I just got sidetracked because I have ADD, and then I walked in. I'm like, "Fuck," but I'll tell you what it is, so you know it's coming to you. So then when you get it, you can hang it up.
Okay, I'm excited to see what
You can't
that
sell
is.
it though.
I can't sell it. I
No,
won't, I promise.
trust me when I tell you, y'all laugh.
I wouldn't sell a gift that someone gave me.
Listen though, when I tell you what it is, when we're done, if you ever go hard like for money, it's gonna be the first thing in this room you can sell for money.
Hey yo, what is this? It's like it's probably like a first edition of.
Bro, no one has it.
Okay.
You're literally be the only person other than myself that has it in possession.
You mentioned Can Rock. Kyle, I honestly forgot that was his real name. I usually just call people by their the name they go by.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Should we mention this marshmallow idea we just spoke about before we got on air?
Yeah.
Can Rock had a bright idea. He wanted to throw marshmallows in Shaggy's mouth. So I guess we'll see where that goes.
I have no idea why. Like, it's like, look, bro, if you want me to promote your indoor golf simulator, I'll just come by, like your family. Like, I'll do it. We don't have to do some like weird shoot marshmallows in my mouth gimmick. But he's like, let's do this because he showed me some video, and I'm like, and I never say no to nothing. Everything's yes. So I'm like, sure, we'll do it. So we were supposed to do it last weekend, but I wasn't feeling well. So I think he wants to do it this week. So we'll figure it out.
Karen sent me a video of a girl on Facebook. Is that your
my
co-host?
Yeah.
She was. I guess that video came out like a couple weeks ago, maybe.
It came out Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, Karen was like, I think Shaggy's sick because she made the video talking about you were out.
But I'm good. I've never been sick a day in my life, but I got really, really sick, and it's the medical way of losing weight. You know what I mean? So lost some weight.
You
feel
want
good now.
You want no Ozempic?
Yeah, no. I ain't got that money for that. No, sir.
Ozempic is like the rich person's weight loss.
Bro.
Regular people just do coke or some shit.
Regular people do coke or just like throw up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so someone told me about, what's it called again?
Ozempic?
Yeah. So before I went on the radio one day, I like Googled how do you get this? I knew nothing about it. And then I saw how much money it was. I was like, yo, that's the reason why like all the rich people are doing it.
So I never looked it up. So it's expensive.
Bro, it's like $120K.
For what? Like
all the shots.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if you meet a girl and she says she's on Ozempic, marry her because she's got money. She's got to have money.
Oh, wow.
Or a dude, I don't know what people are into anymore, but.
But yeah, I texted you to see if you were all right. You said you were good. You were actually hosting a UFC type event at Rivers.
Yeah.
I think it was last night or 2 days ago.
Yep.
What was that like? Yeah.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine, he did a it's called Brawler's Brawl. It was like a octagon 11 fight. Like one fight would be boxing, next fight.
Oh, they actually fought.
Oh yeah.
At Rivers.
At Rivers, yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
But it was an all ages event. Rampage Jackson was there hanging out, the old UFC guy. And so I took my kids because they're really into it. So yeah, I was out there the other night and it was cool. Like one fight would be like wrestling, next fight would be like boxing, next fight would be Muay Thai. So every fight was different.
Where was the ring at?
So if you walk inside Rivers, if you go to your left, there's a whole convention center where they do like concerts and stuff. It's over there. And they're doing another one in May.
I don't think I've seen that. I've been to Rivers like 3 or 4 times.
Because you walk straight in.
Yeah.
So if you walk into the main Rivers, like the main entrance, where you go to check your ID, before you go to check your ID, if you go to your left, you can go down this hallway and there's a whole convention center where they have concerts and like big events over there, and you can be all ages and go over there. So like when Corner Gang comes or Jackson 5 or any of the shows, that's where they're at.
That's fire. I didn't know. I didn't know they did that.
So they do another one. They have another one in May.
Okay.
Another UFC fight.
Yeah. So okay. So you've been on Z104 for I think like 25 years.
Yeah.
You just signed a new 3-year deal.
Yeah.
I do want to get into all this. Like, that's why my parents know you, because growing up, I would just, like, Z104 were just on the radio.
Yeah.
That's like going to school, we would just play that.
Yeah.
I know you started there at 18.
Yeah.
You were a DJ before that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just start with maybe just the early days when you were just like a DJ before you got on the radio? What was the scene like at that time in the 757 area? Like,
Sure.
how'd you get into DJing? Like, yeah, what was life like in those days?
I was maybe 14, 15. I was DJing at Skating Rink. And now I own the Skating Rink. And that's not a flex. That's just,
In Virginia Beach.
yeah, it's just talking. And there used to be a club called Shadows in Virginia Beach where Allen Iverson, when he got drafted by the 76ers, he had his party. And I'm DJing like maybe, it was like a Saturday or Friday, Saturday night. And the owner of Shadows was in there because they were having a party there. And he was like, yo, who's the guy DJing like right now? They were like, him. And I'm just like some skinny little white kid. And he's like, you're the DJ? He's like, yeah. He's like, would you ever want to like DJ like outside of here? I'm like, yeah, but you got to talk to my mom and my dad. I'm 15 years old. And so I was DJing at, it was before the beach house, it was called Rogues, Septembers, Gary's, Knickerbockers, Crazy Charlie's. I was DJing all these places before I was at high school. And my mom and dad would take me. So I would DJ at all these places at 16, 17 years old on Friday, Saturday night. And that's how I met a crap ton of people. And it was funny because I was the white kid that was able to DJ at these places where they would allow all hip hop, knowing that if I was a different color, that same club wouldn't allow none of that music. But it was they were allowing it because of like what the envision of. So like I was breaking down this weird barrier of these clubs at the oceanfront because I was playing all hip hop. I didn't play anything else other than hip hop. And when I got out of high school and I went and got into radio, I wanted to make it a point to like open those doors for other DJs that didn't look like me, that should get the same respect. Because Virginia Beach, they hold so many keys. They were gatekeepers for so long. And now it's turned so much.
Gatekeepers as far as DJs? Or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All the above. Like they would legit only let certain people DJ certain places if you play by the rules. Like you could only play certain songs. I mean, I specifically remember DJing. Bruce Smith just got signed to the Washington Redskins. And I was at a club at the oceanfront.
Not to cut you off, isn't that who Shan was just telling us about? Then she mentioned Bruce Smith. This girl, we did an episode with Shan last week, and she was like, Bruce Smith got her in touch with some guy that like has a studio, and that was like where she recorded her first song. I never heard of Bruce Smith at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, so Bruce Smith is...
He's a football player, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the all-time leading sack of all time. So he played for the Bills, Buffalo Bills, went to Virginia Tech, is from Virginia Beach, well, he's from Hampton Roads, and he just gets signed to the Washington Redskins. And I'm DJing at a club. And before he walked in, the club owner at the oceanfront came up to me and says, do not play Juvenile, Back That Ass Up. If you play it, I will not pay you. It was the biggest song in the world at the time. So I said, sure, I'm not going to play it. Bruce Smith walks in the door. The biggest athlete in the world.
He requests that song.
And he walks up to me and says, and I'm not Shaggy, I'm just a little DJ. He goes, hey, play Back That Ass Up. And I played the song because Bruce Smith told me to play it. And the club owner comes out of the office, runs full speed to me.
During the song?
During the song. And says, what did I tell you? And I pointed, I said, that man told me to play it. And he goes, you can play it the rest of the night. So when I'm telling you, like, I started to slowly change the narrative at the oceanfront and saying, like, I'm going to play what they want, and I'm going to then allow other people who come in to be able to do the same thing.
In these clubs where they weren't like allowing hip hop to be played, what was the demographic in those clubs? Like, did the people in there want to hear that music?
Absolutely. So you would walk into any club at the oceanfront, and I would say it was 80-20 girl to guy, okay? And I would say 70-30 Caucasian to other. Every single white girl that was at any of these clubs would ask for hip hop. Every single one. No white girl was walking up asking for the Vines or Good Charlotte. They were asking for Cash Money or Jay-Z or Beanie Siegel or Memphis. They were asking for hip hop. So then when you would go to play it and the owner would walk up and go, why are you playing this? I'd be like, she asked for it. That girl right there. Like, yeah, right. I'm like, yes, she did. Look at her. She's rapping the entire song. It was just a mentality state. They just thought they heard the song, so they thought they already knew the clientele that wanted to hear it. And I'm like, no. Those girls right there.
It's a much wider demographic than they expected.
Sure.
So you played back that ass up that night.
Like 7 times.
Did he like let you do you after that club owner?
1,000%. 1,000%. And so it's funny because I just saw the owner. His family's a big time lawyers in Norfolk, Virginia. So I just saw that guy like maybe 2 weeks ago at a high school basketball game. And we joked about that same story. And he's like, I'll never forget it. He's like, I was going to fire you that night. And I was like, yeah. And then he goes, I never messed with you after that. I'm like, yeah, because like, this is what people wanted, you know? So when I was DJing, I was always the guy going, I'm not going to play for what the principal wants. I'm not going to play for what the owner wants. I'm going to play what they want. And if I get fired from the high school prom, or if I get fired from that club because the owner didn't like me, the crowd will go to him or the principal and say,
or
hey,
the crowd will follow you to your next spot you're spinning
I can't tell you how many times me and my brother did high school proms and got fired at the end because we didn't play Cool in the Gang Celebration. And literally the next year, they would hire somebody else. And then the following year, we'd get a phone call back from Bayside High School or Lake Taylor High School saying, hey, can you come to our prom again? Last year was whack. And we're like, right. Because that DJ last year played, you know, the dip 95 times or Tootsie Roll 100 times because that's what the principal wanted. So that's how I led my entire DJ career, was going, I'm not going to disrespect nobody, but I'm going to play what everybody wants.
Play what the people want.
That's it.
It's funny how you also came up in the skating rink. Like the skating rink is where I fell in love with music at. Like growing up in elementary school, like we would go every Wednesday. Yeah. Like it's like early day, and then like there's a bus that goes to the skating rink.
Sure.
And that's where I really like realized that different songs like change the vibe in the place.
Sure.
Like that certain song comes on and you might like skate faster, you might speed up a little bit, like, and then it's also like, yeah, a lot of times these people like in business or like the CEOs or the owners, they're kind of out of touch with what the people want. And 1,000%. That kind of, you can see that translate to even the media landscape right now. It's like, if we're talking about mainstream media, like the anchors on mainstream media have to listen to like what their bosses are telling them what they can and can't say. But that's not what the people want to hear. Right. That's why you see like the mainstream news, like the legacy news channels, they're losing viewership. Like nobody's watching that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, you can find any reporter, any news article to make your narrative fit. So if you tell me, hey, everybody's only drinking that kind of water, I can find a website to prove that. I am telling you, I'm here, meaning you can be corporate. You can be in Philly, LA, Chicago, whatever. You're not going to tell me what Huntersville, Norfolk's listening to. You're not going to tell me what people in Newport News are doing. You're not going to tell me what Oscar Smith at Indian River is doing. I'm there. I see it. So if I'm at a basketball game on a Friday night, there's 2,000 people there, and they play a song and I see a reaction, I don't care what you're going to tell me, what San Diego tells you. I'm telling you what I see in my face. And until you tell me I'm wrong and get in your little private jet and come tell me, then I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I've been very successful at knowing my lane, meaning like I'm going to ruffle feathers when I need to ruffle feathers, but I also know what island to stand on. So for example, like I was the first person in the country to play Sexy Back. It's the first person in the world.
Is that Justin Timberlake? Yeah.
First person. I played it 3 days before it came out.
On the radio.
On the radio. Got a cease and desist from his label.
How did you get it?
Timberland.
Oh, he sent it to you personally.
Gave it to me. So when I tell you, like, I played a record that everybody sonically said it was the worst song ever recorded in the history of music. That's what they said.
Who was saying that?
Everybody. Google it.
Okay.
Here's why.
Google that, Karen.
Here's why. Because when it came out, the reverb on it, true story, people got fired over that record because they didn't like the way it was recorded, because they said that it didn't sound correct. Okay? So when that song came out, it was a Wednesday night. I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Timberland hands it to me on a CD.
Oh, Timberland sent it to you. I thought you said Timberlake. Okay.
No, Timberland.
Timberland.
The producer.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So he gives it to me. I'm in the studio with a CD. Kids, that's a disc that you put in your like back in the day you put in your car. And it said, Sexy Back. And I take it to Bar Norfolk on a Wednesday night. And I walk up to the DJ and said, yo, play this. It's a brand new Justin Timberlake song. It's his first single off his second album, which was the most anticipated solo album in a long time.
So he was already like blowing up at that time.
Future Sex
like
Love
this.
Sounds out. Like I Love You's out. His first solo album was success. But your second one's the big one. That's the sophomore jinx.
Can you do it again?
Right. And this was 2 years after Like I Love You, Summer Love, all the records he did, the first Justified, the whole first solo album. I played at Bar Norfolk. They booed it. They booed it. I played on the radio every hour at the top of the hour. Every hour. And I got a cease and desist from Jive Records saying, you're not allowed to play it, we'll sue you. That's not the single, we're not going with it.
So I guess you really believed in the record because you said you played it at the bar and they booed it. So why'd you keep playing it on the radio?
Because it was a hit.
You just knew.
That was your feeling. It was a hit.
Yeah.
It was a hit. And when Timberland looks at me and says, what do you think? And I said, that's great. He says, run with it. What do? You run with it. It's Timberland. He produced it. He's telling me to run with it. I'm running with it. I played it 24 times. Got a letter to my corporate saying he's going to get sued if he don't pull this off the record because he stole it. My corporate pulls me in the office and says, Shaggy, you need to stop playing this because you stole it. I said, I didn't steal nothing. He gave it to me. Who gave it to you? I said, Timberland. They said, well, they're saying he didn't. I said, I don't care what they're telling you. So
they're saying Timberland stole it from the label.
No, they're saying I stole it from Timberland.
Oh, wow. Did you look that up also? Type in, did people say Sexy Back? Type in Sexy Back, worst song of all time, or something like that. It might pop up.
Or Sexy Back Reverb.
Zoom in on that a little bit. I think the Justin Timberlake song, Sexy Back, is the worst song ever. Every time I hear that awful song, I want to scream and puke. Zoom in a little more. I want to scream and puke. Okay. What year was that? That was 5 years ago, so that was still a while after that. So you just really believed in it, so you played it 24 times
24
on the
times.
station.
So after the cease and desist came over, and I was able to keep playing it because I didn't steal it, Jive Records, shout out to Joe Daddio, who is the record rep for Jive Records, they pushed up the release of that single for up to 48 hours because I believed in the record, because I stood in an island. And that island was affected like, yo, this is like a moment. This is a moment. And here we are.
And then that song ended up coming out and being a massive hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Not because of me. Like, I want to be very clear. I don't want no one to watch. That song has no reason. It's not a hit because of Z104 or Shaggy. It's a hit because it was a hit. It was a hit because the song just sonically was incredible. But if you listen to anything from Justified, that first solo album, and then you listen to Sexy Back, it's completely not even in the same world. It's completely two different sounds. Completely. You know, My Love with Justin Timberlake and T.I. and Summer Love and Like I Love You and all those first completely was a great album.
I still listen to, was it AO Technology a lot?
Yeah, with 50 Cent.
That's still a hit.
Yeah.
Speaking of Justin Timberlake as well, I actually was on a 3-way FaceTime with Andrew Hypes like last week, like 2 weeks ago. He either just got off stage or was about to go on stage, because I did a podcast with Samandy.
Yep.
And I was telling her, like, I'm trying to link with him.
She's awesome, too. I've known Samandy for 20 years.
Yeah, so we did a pod, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to link with Andrew. So she didn't even say anything to me. She just left, and then I get a call like an hour or two later after she leaves, and it's like a 3-way FaceTime with him and her. So we locked in. He may be coming on the show. I think he's going to be in town like at the end of February before they go on an international tour.
Yeah.
So that might be happening. Also, I guess, how far, like how long, like when you played Sexy Back on the radio those 24 times, like how long were you already there? Like, I guess like they gave you free roam to do whatever you want, even in those days?
No, so how radio works is, if Lil Wayne has a new single coming out, let's do this, for example. Lollipop comes out. That's the record they're working. So if you want to get any promotion, if Lil Wayne goes on concert and you want to give away tickets to his concert, if Lil Wayne's doing a Super Bowl and you want to give away tickets to see him at a Super Bowl, you got to play by the record label's rules. So if Lollipop's out, you better be playing Lollipop, Okay, that's their focus. Now, when Lollipop came out, A Milli was not the second single, was not the third single. I can't remember the second single. I think it was the one with T-Pain. And don't get me wrong. And I think the third single was supposed to be Miss Officer with Bobby Valentino. And a lot of people, including myself, a lot of people heard A Milli and said, that's the next single. So if you want to play the record label game, you follow the record label rules, which is play the singles they're focused on so they can chart to number one because they all get bonuses. Or you play what your audience wants and you say, I don't care what you're trying to do. So that's the path you can take as a programmer, like myself. I can either play the game as a record label so I can get tickets to give to my audience, or I can play the singles my audience wants and get in ratings. So you have to pick your poison.
So I guess it's really up to you what you want to play. Like if you want to get the tickets, I was always wondering like what is the relationship between labels and radio? Because you always hear like labels pay for radio, they'll just pay the stations to like play these
Not
songs
true.
on repeat. What is the relationship
It's not
between
true.
labels and radio?
So back when I first started, the labels had way more control over the artists. For example, if you were a new artist and I had a concert called Shagfest and they wanted me to play your song, I would play your song and then you would do my show for free. That's how that worked. That's over. That's been over for 15 years. The label has absolutely no control over Tyler, the Creator. None. A label could call Tyler, the Creator right now and say, Shaggy is the greatest thing that's ever happened. He cured cancer. You need to call his radio station and tell him he's great. Tyler, the Creator is going to tell him go fuck themselves. That's how this works. Because you know why? Tyler, the Creator does not need a record label to tell him what to do, how to do it, and how to drop it because he has his own social media, his own Instagram, his own all that stuff. So now a record label's job is just to guide records to get to number one, number two, and number three.
How do they do that?
By radio spins, YouTube, Shazam, downloads, connections. But when I tell you, I've in the past, I've been on radio 24, 25 years. I've done Shaqfest 10 years. I can't tell you the last time I called a record label for a favor. I can't tell you.
Do they call you for favors?
They'll call me and ask me, hey, can you look at the new Tyler song and see what you think? And we're going for ads and it'd be great. And if she comes into Norva, we'll hook you with tickets. But it's not, there's the old school way of like how record labels and radio stations work is dead. Now it's really just, in my world, play the fucking hits. That's it. Play what the kids want. Play what the people want to listen to. I don't care about your motive. I don't care about your story. I don't need your tickets to your concert because I probably know the venue anyways.
Probably get some tickets some other way.
Yeah, like my listener's going to win no matter what. You don't control none of these artists. So even if Lil Wayne came to town, you can't tell him to meet 30 people anymore because he's going to tell you he doesn't want to do it. So me playing his song 120 times to make you happy, what is that really going to do for my radio station or my listeners? Nothing. Does that make any sense?
It does. Like I said, I've always heard people like saying that like a label will pay the station, but I always figured it was like relationship based.
It was all relationship based.
It would be like somebody at the label or people at the label that have relationships with like all these different markets across the United States, and you kind of do it like on a individual.
There was never pay. It was always either promo stuff like.
But isn't that illegal though? Actually,
yeah, it's
for them to pay
payola.
you?
Like you'll go to jail for it. Like I tell artists all that time, and I know you interview a lot of people. If an artist watching this podcast or you interview pays a radio DJ anything to get their song played on the radio, act like they're smacking your mama.
Who can go to jail in that situation?
All of them.
Both of them.
Yes.
It's like they're conspiring.
Bro, that's a federal offense. That's James Brown time. You're going to jail.
I guess what's the difference between that and just like paying for a advertising
Ads
slot?
are different. You're paying for commercials. You're not paying for airplay. It's a difference. An ad, you're paying for commercial space. If I'm paying you to play my song beneath Bruno Mars and after Beyonce and before Bruno Mars, you're paying me to subject your music to people who are already listening to Bruno Mars and Beyonce.
Maybe it's also a factor like when it's a commercial slot, people know that that's a paid commercial slot.
It's a paid spot.
But if you're acting like it's an organic play, but it's
if you wanted right now, say let's just use I don't want to use any local rappers. I don't want them upset with me. Let's just use my son. Okay? So my son Brody was a rapper. and he wanted to buy, if he came to me and said, Dad, I have this new song what I want to know about. I'd be like, son, spend X amount of money and run a 30-second commercial at the beginning or the end of a commercial set and play your 10-second of your song, promote your website, your Instagram, and on the back end, play the song. That's legal. That's legal. But if a DJ looks at any artist, and I'm calling all of them out, I don't give a damn how much money you got. If a radio DJ from any radio station says, hey, give me $500, I'll pay your song 3 times a week on a radio station. That's literally like me saying to you, I don't believe in you, I don't believe in your music, and I don't believe in your whatever you stand for, I just want your money. Period. Because if I believe in what you do, I shouldn't charge you. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's back up a little bit. So you're in the skating rinks.
Yep.
You started DJing like 15, 16. I guess how did you end up at Z104? Also, I saw in the interview you did with Danielle. I didn't know about this. Wrote it down. You did Torture Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the first things you did as Z104. Like you were like a stunt guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll remember the interview when I tell you what you said. You said that you were like jumping off ladders into mouse traps and swimming with sharks with chum tied to you. Is that real? Mm-hmm. Is there a video of that?
Probably not. But it's true.
Yeah, how did you get to Z104? What were those days of being a stunt guy like in Torture Tuesdays?
So I was a DJ for Teddy Riley.
Okay.
From Blackstreet.
When he moved to Virginia Beach.
Yeah, so...
Like in Pharrell's movie.
Yeah, so Pharrell graduated from Prince Anne, the same school I went to in 93 and 94. I graduated in 2000. Same high school. Teddy Riley's nephews and I grew up playing basketball together. So I used to go to Future Records, just like Pharrell did, on different worlds. Like Pharrell was a producer, I was just into music. So Teddy Riley was really good friends with the guy who hired me. So I was 18 years old out of high school, and my boss told Teddy on a event they needed some young kid to take over the morning show to be funny and crazy. So that's how I got my job at Z104. So Teddy Riley called my phone. I was surfing at the beach, and he's like, yo, you should go look into this. Then Torture Tuesday, when I got into radio, I don't have a degree, and I didn't really know what to do. And so at that time, I was a surfer, skater, and I was really big into watching CKY videos. So this is before Jackass. This is before YouTube. This was Bam Margera and his friends put out VHS tapes of them skateboarding and doing some crazy shit. So I just loved it. And so me and my buddies would do like some really insane stuff, like really insane shit. And
what's the most insane thing you did? Well, I'm assuming this fucking shark thing. That's
I mean,
crazy.
I was just telling Rachel, there's only, I think, 2 people. And again, I don't know if it's on Google or not, but I swam from Willoughby Spit to Buckaroo Beach, and I'm almost positive there's only one other person that's done it, and it was a guy in the 1970s. And I swam that because a cop got killed in Virginia Beach, and I did it on the radio.
This was for Torture Tuesdays.
Yeah. I've been everything that a police officer has to go through to get trained, like a
Police
taser,
Academy?
all that stuff.
Okay.
They told me to run through down Military Highway. I had red meat tied to me, and they let a bunch of dogs after me on Military Highway.
Wait, who the hell is coming up with these ideas?
Me.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah. But so what I did though, the reason why is when I got into radio, I was like, how can I be different? Anyone can tell a joke. Anyone can.
But also, how do these things translate to the radio? It's audio only. Like, are people? They can't even see you doing this stuff.
It was. So we would always tell people where I'm at. So my corner that I used to be. So like, for example, like when Dancing with the Stars came out, the first season, we did Dancing with the Cars. So they would blindfold me and put me at Taco Bell on Virginia Beach at Independence Boulevard intersection. So we would tell people, hey, Shaggy's going to be at Taco Bell on Independence, Virginia Beach. Go see him. And people would pull up in their cars and watch me get blindfolded and like run across traffic with someone yelling 4 steps forward, like Frogger. Yeah. Yeah, so I
feel like that's so fucking dumb.
I know.
Especially because they can't see you on the radio. There's no video of it.
Listen.
You're just like, are they playing the sounds of it on the radio?
Oh, yeah, everything's live.
Okay.
So to this point, so I don't do Torture Tuesdays anymore, but I still do a few of my big stunts. So one is the Great American Pumpkin Drop. So every year, right after Halloween, you can bring your jack-o'-lanterns to the station, and we get a crane lift. And then we go on we got a guy who chops down trees and he gets to the top of the crane and he drops pumpkins on top of me. And so people can sit in the parking lot and watch.
What the hell,
It's
bro?
so dumb. It's so dumb.
Is there one of these stunts that you said no to? Like, that's too far.
Tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, and they wanted to put something really crazy on my body, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Teddy Riley gets you the gig.
Yep.
You start out as the stunt guy,
Yep.
Torture Tuesdays. You're not really a host at that point
Nope,
yet.
I'm just on the morning show, just doing like once a week. I'm there 5 days. I'm not even getting paid. I didn't get paid for 2 years. And then my first check, I was getting $120 every week or every 2 weeks. So I was still DJing and still doing odds and ends stuff. So I worked there for close to 5 years without making any sort of money at all.
I guess even 120 with like inflation, because this is like 25 years ago. It might be like 300-400 now.
No, it didn't feel like that.
It didn't feel like that.
No. But I mean, I was, I guess I don't say I was having fun. I didn't care, dude. I was young. I didn't have any kids. I was DJing 4 nights a week, making dumb money. And I'm like using the radio station. I didn't care. Like,
Are you using you using the radio to promote your gigs like outside of it?
yeah. So like there was a fine line back then. So payola. So even though like you can't pay a radio station to play your song, I can't go on the radio right now. And I've been doing radio for a long time. I can't go on the radio right now and promote something I'm doing unless the radio station is making money. So like I couldn't go on the radio and go like, hey guys, come see me tonight at, Crazy Charlie's or Hammerheads. Unless
Is that a law, or is that just because the radio station doesn't allow that?
it's just the radio station don't allow it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they want everyone wants to make their money.
I think actually Alana told me that too, because she interviewed me on Hot 91 like a week ago, and
Yeah.
I think she told me, she's like, I can't promote anything on this show.
Right.
Yeah.
So now after a while, you get, like I said, remember I told you have to stand on your island, but you have to pick and choose when you want to stay on that island. Now I'm able to do way more because they know that like my integrity's there, and like they know I'm not just out there promoting my own stuff. Like I have like some sort of self-awareness to know like I'm not here to like, it's not Shaggy 104. You know what I mean? But that takes a while.
So okay,
Wow.
so you're there on air like once a week. You're there interning. You're getting like 120. What did you think? Like in your mind, were you like thinking about the future, like where this could lead to, or were you just like having fun in the moment? And also maybe even touch on just like paying your dues, like doing something you love for free or for a little money,
Yeah.
and like it eventually like kind of working out.
So, yeah, I think what happened was a lot of artists would come into the station, and I didn't like how they were being interviewed. It was super horrible. They didn't understand the culture. They didn't understand the music. And I would save so many interviews. And I started getting involved with the artist. Like, I mean, there's no flex. Like, I mean, that's how Shagfest created. Like, I started becoming so close with so many artists just because I understood the music. And I just loved the music. And that kept me just wanting to stay around. I didn't care about the whole radio thing. I didn't care about the Shaggy thing. I didn't care about Torture Tuesday. I just was like, yo, the music for Z104 in this area, like, it needed me around. Because I was like, these artists are coming here to this radio station, and if I'm not here, they're never coming back. Not to Virginia. I'm saying like they're never coming back to this station.
You're talking about like industry acts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Ja Rule on down. Like I can tell you, you ain't got enough time on your podcast to tell you the stories that I've been through and seen. And to this date, look back on it and going, if I wasn't in that room when that happened, they're never coming back to this radio station and doing anything for this station ever again. And so I just fell in love with trying to just connect with these guys on all levels.
So that was like kind of what's keeping you going, like you feel like your contribution to the scene.
Yeah. Because Top 40 radio was looked at corny, super corny. Like even when Teddy Riley called me and we had Nextel phones, like chirp shit. And he's like, hey, I got you a interview with Z104. I'm like, for what? He's like, to go work the morning show. I'm like, never. He's like, why? I'm like, why would I want to do that? Like, because as a DJ, I don't play singles. Like, I'm not playing the songs you hear on the radio. And so, like, I knew when rappers were coming to like bro, this is early 2000s. So you're talking about when Ludacris and Ja Rule and these guys were bigger than life. When they're coming to Z104, they're going to 103 Jams first, okay? Which is DJ B and them, the Buddha Brothers and all that. That's the hip station. That's the station that, like, they know what time it is. And they're coming to Z104, they're going, oh, this is the top 40 station. Ah, okay. Like, we got to play the game because it's mainstream. Like, so they're coming in knowing, like, the DJ's gonna be like, so, sir, how much money you got in your pocket? You know? And I'm sitting in the corner going, nah, not every top 40 station is like this. Like, we know what time it is, but the DJs that were at the station at the time were going, literally, the question they asked Ja Rule was, so, how much money is in your bank account? And I'm sitting on the other corner going, what?
Like, even on that, I feel like we came up, like, I'm 29, so I came up watching interviews with artists where it always felt like the artist didn't want to be there.
No.
And it was like everybody's asking the same questions.
Correct.
That's why I love where like podcasting and where the space has evolved to, because
Correct.
now you can actually see your favorite artists like be themselves and have a real conversation with someone they want to speak to and like actually enjoying it.
So when Pharrell did his movie Piece by Piece, I was the only radio station or TV station got interviewed by him. Why? Not because of Z104, because he knew he was comfortable. He knew we were safe. He knew I was going to ask him the same questions.
I actually saw you speak on that interview too. You were like, it's difficult for you to interview Pharrell sometimes because y'all are actually friends,
Yeah.
and you have to interview him like he's not your friend.
Like, I don't know nothing about him. Like,
Yeah.
I literally ask him questions like stuff I know. But so it got to a point when we were interviewing, I'll never forget, Janet Jackson. Her label picks up the phone and says, you can't ask this. And it was like 40 questions.
Is this pre nip slip?
No, this was Jermaine. She was dating Jermaine Dupri at the time.
Post nip slip.
So probably, I don't know. Probably all
Was
the
that
above.
because that was probably on the list?
But no,
Don't
so I
ask about
just
the
remember it was all
cities.
Jermaine Dupri questions.
Yeah.
Don't ask about this. And I remember going, because this is the reason why, if you're good at your job, when you asked me to come on this podcast, I said yes immediately. I didn't once write you and tell you, hey, this is off limits, or don't ask me this, or don't ask me this. I'm open a book. It gets to a point where these artists are so disrespected and you don't do any homework and all you're doing is a quick maybe Wikipedia search.
Or asking generic questions.
Right.
Like, what's your inspirations?
Right. And could you imagine being an artist sitting in a room at a hotel in Atlanta and you're doing 95 radio interviews with 95 different radio DJs that are asking you 95 of the same questions just in a different tone? It was horrible. So when I was sitting there and I'm seeing these artists come here and they're literally miserable, and within 5 minutes of me throwing in my interaction going, no, I know you. I know, I'm going to ask you a question. Like, for example, I'll tell you a quick story. Real quick. Ja Rule comes, 03, 04. He's bigger than God. The DJ at the night show, I won't say his name, but on Z104, he asked Ja Rule 2 questions. Ja Rule got so upset in the commercial break, Ja Rule said, I'm leaving. Now, Ja Rule is literally the biggest rap musician in the world. Okay? Murder Inc. is big. You know, I mean, he's huge, bro. And Ja Rule's about to walk out the door and I said, tell me about Cash Money Click. Get your fortune. Tell me how you and Irv Gotti paid money back in New York to get off Mary J. Blige video so Get My Fortune could get on. And he stopped in his tracks and he turned around and goes, what?
How do you know about that?
I said, Cash Money Click. He goes, how you know about Cash Money Click? I said, I know your music. He looks at the night show host and he says, you should leave. I wasn't even full time. I was a part-time DJ, just was there at night going to meet Ja Rule.
What were the 2 questions he asked that really turned him off?
The first question was how much money you had. Second question was, who do you want to date?
What the fuck? Like,
Bro,
yeah.
I don't care who you're dating. You could
Yeah.
date 15 people. I don't give a shit. So when I asked him about Cash Money Click, which was his rap group before he was Murder Inc., and then Get Your Fortune was his first record he did that him and Irv Gotti paid a crap ton of money back in New York City to boot off Mary J. Blige and Method Man All I Need video to play their video. That's a fact. This is easy homework. This is not even homework if you just know the music.
It's disrespectful to the artist, but even like as far as to the listener or the viewer, it's
Right.
it's not an enjoyable conversation.
No,
you know
bro,
what I mean?
I don't
Like,
care. When I do interviews now to this point, I will tell, everyone from JT, from City Girls, so you name it. I'll say, listen, I don't care who you're dating. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care about you and Lil Uzi Vert. I don't care about none of that. I'm going to ask you 5 questions that I guarantee when you're done, you're going to walk away going, that was dope. Give me the opportunity. And if I'm wrong, then you never got to talk to me again. And 99% of the times I'm never wrong. And it's not because I'm better than you. It's just because I actually care about the music. And I'm not going to interview you if I don't like the music.
Yeah. I've had a couple people send me some stuff like that they don't want to talk about. It was really like maybe like 1 or 2, which actually was still cool because there was like religion and like politics. So it's like I don't really care too much about talking about that anyways.
Sure.
But yeah, a podcast is supposed to be a free-flowing conversation. Yeah. So sometimes a lot of people I do podcasts with never did a podcast, so they don't really know how it's supposed to flow. Yeah. So they sometimes come in and like try to make it too structured or like, because you see how we do. We start rolling right away. I don't even tell the people we're start rolling. We just kind of
start talking.
We just get right into it. Okay, so this Ja Rule situation happens. Was that like when they started taking you more serious, or like they're like, yo, maybe you should be full-time?
No, I got suspended.
For what?
Because at that time, you weren't allowed, as a part-timer, you weren't allowed to insert yourself in these type of situations.
Oh, you got suspended for that?
Yeah. And Ja Rule and Def Jam, Noah Shear, shout out to Noah Shear. I'll send him this link. He'll love it. Noah Shear was the vice president of Def Jam Records back then. They sent a letter to my boss stating that I saved the interview and that me speaking up actually kept Ja Rule, which was the #1 recording artist at the time, in the studio. So I became unsuspended. Or I don't even know if that's a word. Because of Ja Rule and Noah Shear from Def Jam Records.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So that's another example of somebody like above you thinking they know best, or like, you know?
Right. But bro, I'm a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So I'm a 19-year-old kid who everyone hates at the radio station because I didn't go to college for this shit. I'm Teddy Riley's buddy. So obviously I got a target on my back. And then
they already feel like you didn't earn it.
I didn't earn none of my stripes.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, in radio, the morning show is the pinnacle. So I started off at the gate on the morning show. And here I am coming at nights to meet Ja Rule. And now Ja Rule's telling the night host, you should leave. Let him do it. And I'm a 19-year-old kid. And then that night host calls my boss saying that I disrespected him on his show. And then it's his word versus my word. And then I'm suspended. And then I'm getting emails from Def Jam, who at that time, you know, as a 19-year-old kid, Def Jam was the best record label in the world, saying, no, he didn't do anything wrong. And I'm going, now I'm walking with my shoulders back like, yeah, say something now. Yeah, you can tell me nothing.
Did things change when you got back from the suspension?
No, I've been suspended a few times, but it did with that guy. I mean, I think once people realize, like, I just really love the music, man. Like, I don't care about the politics. I don't care. You can call me right now and tell me, I couldn't tell you right now. If you had a gun in my head, I couldn't tell you 5 radio stations in any other market outside of Hampton Roads. Like, I don't know radio. I don't know call letters. I don't know DJs and other radio stations. People ask me if I know this DJ. I don't know anyone. I just love music. So, like, I don't care about Hampton Roads and the music that people like here. Other than that, I have no say in this game. No say. And I don't want no say.
So, I guess, when did you become full-time?
Well, so I celebrate my 24th year in March. So it was like I was part-time on radio from 2000 to 2002. So like right around March of 2002, I think it was. I can't really remember exactly. But full-time just meant, I don't know, they paid me like $350 every 2. I don't remember what it was. My first contract was $18,000 a year. That was my first full-time contract, $18,000 a year.
And you're still like DJing on the side, doing.
Oh, dude, I'm DJing. I'm cutting grass. I'm walking your mom to like Food Lion, whatever you need me to do. Yeah, I was making money. I was fine, but radio was just a thing.
When did you stop DJing? Because I don't think I haven't seen you like DJing.
No, I haven't DJed anywhere in a while. When I started getting paid to just walk in and talk on a microphone, when club owners were like, "Hey, we'll pay you X amount of money," I was like, "All right, what time you want me to load in?" And they're like, "Well, you just get here like 11." I'm like, "Oh, you mean DJ 11?" They're like, "No, we got Can Rock. He's DJing 11. I'm making this up. You know, it's like, and I'm like, oh, so you want me to host? They're like, oh yeah. Isn't that what you do? I'm like, yep. So once
You'd rather host than DJ?
Yeah, it's way less, like, I don't care. Cause I don't want to, if I DJ now, I'm not going to play anything you want to hear. Like I'm going to play, if I'm in my mode, I'm going to play Johnny Gill. I'm going to play The Baby. Then I'm going to play, you know, CCR. Like I'm going to play what I want. And that's not a good formula for any business owner.
Maybe touch on the how radio has had to adapt to like different technologies and just like social media and how just like the entertainment climate overall has been changing like drastically over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe from like give us a behind the scenes view, like are you guys like how hip are you guys? How aware do you try to stay to what's going on? Like how have you guys had to adapt over the years?
Yeah, so I think radio's always been like a young person like tool to hear new music, and I think now we all know that's not real. Like if you still think that young people and kids are finding new music from the radio, you're really lost with reality. We've adapted to the point now that we know, especially like at Z104, we're a heritage station. So I know, like you just told me, like your dad knows who I am. And that's not like a flex. That's just mean Z104 has been around for 35 years. So now I know Z104 has a heritage. It matters to people because it takes them, it reminds them of something.
I was gonna say, what is a heritage station? It just means
heritage station means like 35, 40 years, meaning the same format, been in the market. Yeah. So when I remember when I got into radio, every night, every radio station used to do a thing called like this or that. You'd play a song and then you would call and say, do you like it or you not? And it was like how you found out if kids like music. Well, that's gone. You know this. Kids done heard songs off of the person's MySpace or, I mean, not MySpace, Instagram or TikTok months before it's on the radio. So now radio's just changed to the fact of like, we're going to give you free stuff, play the most mainstream, across the board music, and try to make you laugh. That's what radio is now. The reason why radio will never die, and I'll say it on your podcast, I'll say it anywhere else, is because it's free. It's free and it's easy. It's easy. Anybody get in a car and turn on a radio station. Right now in your car, if you have a regular car, you can have 20 presets. 20. Most cars have 20. You only will do 5. You only do 5. You don't even know how to get to number 6. And that's been your car for 10 years.
I think for me, what keeps me coming back to the radio, it's kind of like, it's the same thing with TV entertainment too. It's like, sometimes you just don't feel like picking a song.
Right.
I don't have to keep thinking of what I want to like play.
Yeah.
I'll just put the radio on and it'll just kind of surprise me with good music.
Well, so, you know, people too, like the biggest thing I get with my station is you play the same songs. And I say, Taco Bell sells burritos. And they go, what do you mean? I'm like, McDonald's sells burgers. You don't complain to them. There's a reason there's a 7-Eleven on every corner because they sell something you want. So Z104 might play the same songs in rotation. There's a reason for it because most Americans are in their car for 15 minutes at a time. That's it. So you either buy your house, your workplace, and your kid's school within a 15-mile radius. So if you count 15 minutes in your car, that's 2 songs and a funny joke. That's it. So if all you're going to hear is 2 songs and a funny joke, I got to at least give you one of those 2 songs a song you like. If I don't give it to you, why are you going to listen? Now, if every day I go, you know what? I was going to put it in a blender and try it out. If Taco Bell every day changed the menu, they go out of business tomorrow.
You got to kind of stick with what's
you
like
gotta
tried
stick,
and tested.
Right. Now, if you go to work right now and you work at a place for 8 hours and they're playing Z104 in your building for 8 hours, of course you're going to hear the same songs numerous times. Buddy, that's anywhere. Watch your favorite TV show for more an hour and you're going to watch the same damn commercial. But most Americans are in their car listening to radio for 15 minutes at a time. That's it. That's all you get.
I think the radio station that I've seen that's done it like the best way in the new era is the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
So they're a real radio station. They are on the radio, but then they also do video form. They blow up online. All their stuff goes viral. Maybe I'm just not aware, but why don't more stations try to replicate that?
Because you got to get the video. So for example, like, you know, I'll just say, for me, for example, so I tell people all the time, I can't out breakfast the Breakfast Club. I can't out Steve Harvey. I can't out Bobby Bones, but I can out local them. Which I mean by that is I can't get Kevin Hart in my studio on a Friday because Kevin Hart's in New York doing a comedy show in New York. You know what I mean? So he's going to go to the Breakfast Club and do a great video content, right? But on a Friday, if Pharrell Pharrell's in town doing a Pusha T party at the oceanfront. Guess who's not talking about the Pharrell party at the oceanfront with Pusha T?
People in New York.
The Breakfast Club. So we can't get local talent in Virginia. We can't get some of that content that the Breakfast Club, Bobby Bones, Steve Harvey can get because they're there. They're in Atlanta. They're in LA. They're in New York. So to answer your question, of course, I think a lot of radio stations would do exactly what the Breakfast Club does if they had that opportunity. But a lot of these guys, so the Breakfast Club and Elvis Duran, all them, they're syndicated across the country. So these guys, let's use Kevin Hart. If Kevin Hart goes to New York City, right, and he goes to iHeart, he's going to do the Breakfast Club and he's going to do Elvis Duran, okay? So Elvis Duran is the #1 most syndicated top 40 morning show DJ in the country. The Breakfast Club is the #1 syndicated urban in the country. So if Kevin Hart does 2 interviews in the same building, he's on 200 radio stations.
He hasn't got to do anything else.
He got to do nothing else.
What's that guy? Elvis what?
Elvis Duran.
Can you look him up real quick so I can see what he looks like?
Duran. He's a 60-year-old white man. And he's the most syndicated top 40 radio DJ in the country. But I beat him. He's not even in this market. That's not a flex.
You beat him locally.
He's not even here. Like if he was on this, he was here before. We rate him out of market because he's not local. Now the Breakfast Club does well here because we're an urban market. Urban market meaning there's more urban sales in Hampton Roads than any place in the country.
Any place in the country
per capita, yes.
Even Atlanta.
Per capita. So like per population, we move more. That's why most of our concerts here are either urban or country. That's it. You don't get a lot of pop shows here. So Elvis Duran was here years ago, but because he wasn't local, it just didn't work. But he's the number. So
zoom in on his face real quick.
Yeah,
that's him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's 60 years old.
I've never seen or heard
He's
of him,
the #1 syndicated top 40 radio DJ in the country.
So he's a DJ or a host? Or
Host. Yeah, but he's got like 12 staff members. I mean, it's insane. But hey, look, like no shade. The dude's done very well for himself.
Yeah. So sometimes certain markets, local people, they want that local vibe.
Hampton Roads is local, bud. Local. I mean, Breakfast Club does well. Steve Harvey's not local. Steve Harvey's the #1 show in this market. But
Steve Harvey got like 50 shows.
But again, Steve Harvey, they're all in the same bucket. But when you have some really good local radio morning shows here. I feel like I do well. Rick Rumble from FM9 does really well. I mean, there's a few.
What's the guy's name from 96.1? You know him?
Is the mornings or afternoons?
I think afternoon.
Alan?
It's not Alan. Is there another guy?
I don't know.
I've been listening to 96.1 for like the last year a lot. I've been kind of back on my rock.
So
shit.
like 96X.
96X.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Some
it
guy
is.
named Alan?
I don't think his name is Alan, but I don't want to hate, but like this guy just kind of just really corny. But they play like great music on there, so I just keep going back to it. I don't know. Random, but
no, so 96X was like a super, super local alternative station. And then
they play great music.
Yeah, no, they've always done well. They've always done well. So I think to go back to your point, a lot of radio stations would love to do the video content. It's just the opportunity is not there because these A-list celebrities are going to 1 or 2 stations and it's covering the whole format.
Do you think there is still room for like evolution in radio, or is the method already tried and tested? There's no reason to add anything to it.
I think that's.
Because like you said, if you're playing the mainstream music, you might do some like fun segments. You might have callers calling in. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any room for evolving it in any way.
I don't think so, man. I think now with social media and everyone has their own interview podcast platform, I just think being great at the small things. I think my success comes from saying yes to everything. Like I think in Hampton Roads, if there's a situation that someone needs help, I would be the first to tell you that I guarantee you my phone is the first to ring over anybody else in this market. If a hurricane comes or someone's house burns down or some kid's lemonade stand gets taken, like I'm the first person they call. So I think the more radio just tries to just keep it simple and just listen to your community and like not try to like be some big national thing, I think we'll be fine. I think when we try to like recreate the wheel, I think that's where it gets weird.
Sometimes you can like overcomplicate
Yeah,
stuff.
just bro, play the hits, say a joke, and be there for community, and shut the hell up. That's it.
On community too, I know you guys do a lot of stuff to give back. You do stuff to bus.
Yeah.
Maybe touch on just like being a local person in the scene and helping out the community. And like a lot of people, I feel like we talked about this on the pod before, but like a lot of people expect like famous people or politicians or like, you know, big people from out of the area to come and like help the community.
Yeah.
And like usually the local person gets overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's tough because like even though Pharrell and all these guys they're from here, they're not really here a lot, you know, and you can't blame them. But I tell people all the time, like, it's so corny. It's so corny, but it's like, yo, just really pay attention to what you can do. So, for example, in 19 years of Stuff the Bus, this coming December, my 20th year, I've never had a national or a celebrity donate anything. Anything. My phone is filled with celebrities. I ain't never asked them for shit.
They never noticed what you were doing and
They
just
all know.
reached out?
No, but I don't. They all know. My thing is, I don't.
You don't expect them to.
I don't expect them to, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Like, who am I to tell you what to do with your money and your time? So my thing is, when I'm doing 27 full school buses full of toys.
Also, I didn't know you slept on the bus for 5 days.
Yeah.
That's fire.
So like, I tell people all the time, like, stop worrying about what Missy is doing or what Pusha is doing or what they're not doing or what any of the. What the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing right this second, right this minute? Like literally something is happening in your community where you can either half of the people complaining don't even volunteer at their fucking kid's school.
They're not even on the PTA.
Right. But they want to blame fucking, you know, Timberlake for their problems.
We see that a lot with, you know, artists in our area too. Like why, like Pusha T, Timberlake, like all our big artists need to do more to help our artists out. But I'm always like, I don't think they can put us on, bro. No. I think it's up to us to really do it for ourselves.
I saw you say this the other day. I literally saw this on your podcast. Like, listen, you will get so much more out of your own fucking craft if you do it yourself. Yes, Teddy Riley called me and said, Shaggy, they want you there. Teddy Riley did not come to my house. He did not pick me up at 3:30 in the morning, and he did not drive me to work 5 days a week and walk me to work. He definitely 1,000% said, hey, you should look into this. I worked my ass off for 24 years and made no money, got to where I'm at. So at the end of the day, I can thank Teddy for making the phone call, but I don't owe no one shit. Nobody. No one can say he is where he's at because I did X, Y, Z. Even like all my Shag Fest. I had Pharrell twice. I paid him. He's my friend. I said, what do you want for my show? He told me. I paid him. There was no, do it for free, buddy. So like these artists that feel like because you live in the same zip code, they owe you a fucking favor? What do they owe you? Because y'all were born in the same city? How about this? How about you create your own world, you make them recognize you, and you collab when the streets come together. And then you all win. But what is it doing for him helping you just because you're from Norfolk?
And also helping is like, it can mean different things. Like usually what people mean by help is like they'll want like a repost or like they'll want to take a picture with you. But I'm always like, it doesn't really change much.
Bro.
If I take a picture with Pharrell right now, like, it's not really going to expand my reach. Even if Pharrell puts me on or tries to just, like, showcase me, like, if I'm not dope myself, if you're not dope yourself and giving people a reason to love you for you and what you do, like, it doesn't matter who you're standing next to. People might see it, you might get a little promo, but ultimately people won't care.
If the product's not good,
it won't sell.
It's not going to sell. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I could walk up to anyone right now and say, this is the funniest guy in the world. I co-sign him. He should be the next greatest host of a radio station.
And then I tap in, bro, it's not funny.
And then I look crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name no names. There's super, super, super successful artists that have signed artists. And then we all have saw them post their videos and we've all go, how much did he get paid to post that? Because we know that shit's whack. So it doesn't work. Hampton Roads in Virginia, we think that we have this weird it's this weird, like, you owe us something. Like, what do we owe you for real? Like, people would come to you all the time and be like, yo, Shaggy, man, put me on. I'm like, when's the last time you listened to my morning show? Yo, man, to be honest, dog, I'm not even up in that morning. I'm like, oh, so I owe you to play your song.
Well, you won't even hear it.
But
You're not up. You're not up.
You
at
don't
the
even
time,
listen
bro.
to my show. Or by the fact, I was just on a bus for 120 hours and your ass didn't even come and bring a toy. But I owe you something. Explain that to me.
While we on the bus, do you change clothes while you're on the bus for 5 days?
Yeah. I do change and do shower. But you know, it's so funny because it's not even. I saw an interview.
Where do you shower at, like the YMCA or something?
No. So there's every city gives me a hotel to go shower at the end of the night. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's a great time.
Oh, so you're in a hotel at the night?
No.
So you're like one of them like shows where they're like fake in the woods, but they go to a hotel at the end of the night?
I tell you what, I'll send you my next year. You come knock on the damn window. I'll be like, hey, come on in. I got Chanel's Pizza inside.
That's funny.
No, I'm not at a hotel. But I saw an interview with T.I., and I think it was, I want to say it was Goody Mob. And he was saying how Atlanta was so tough because he used a term that I've heard here in Hampton Roads that was crabs in a bucket. He's like, there's so many rappers, and they're in a bucket. And they try to get to the top, and then they just got knocked down. And I'm like, yo, that's
each other down.
Right, and that's how many people in Hampton Roads. But it's like, the Timberlands and Pharrells and the list can go on. Let's not just keep them. All of them created their own world, and it just all worked. Stop waiting for somebody to give you that cosign that if your mom's not going to give it to you yet.
My thing on the crabs in the bucket mentality is, first of all, I don't think it's something that's local to this area. I think that's everywhere, like you're saying in Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
But I think it's ultimately like a human psychology thing. It's like, I look at it as like famine. If we're all starving artists in the city and none of us are making money, none of us are doing it, it's like famine. Like if there's famine in your city and you and your family don't have anything to eat, it's kind of hard to think about your neighbor. Like you're trying to feed your family.
That's it.
So we're all in like this famine mentality.
Yeah. So
and it's not like I don't think it's like I don't think it's crazy to imagine why it's happening.
No. And I mean, and so when I used to do Shag Fest, I would get the most hate. You said you're 29, right?
Yeah.
All right. When's the last time you been to Norva?
The Norva?
Yeah.
I've actually never been to the Norva.
All right. So the Norva is 1,500 people. Okay. So we'll do fun math here. 1,500 people. There's 1.5 million people in Hampton Roads. Okay. My radio station does 300,000 to 400,000 people a week. Okay. So with that being said, if someone comes up to me and says, hey, you need to play my song because I'm the dopest in Suffolk. I'm the dopest. And look at their Instagram. They have 3,000 followers on Instagram. Instagram's free.
And they don't even post music. It's just like pictures of them
But
just
follow
not
me here.
doing shit.
Instagram's free. I'm like, all right, you got 3,000 followers on Instagram. Then I'm like, let me see your downloads. Downloads are okay. Then I'll say to them, I'm talking Shag Fest now. Like, yo, I need to be on stage at the amphitheater. 20,000 seats. 20,000. Okay? I'm like, all right. Why? I'm the dopest. You don't understand I'm the dopest. I'm like, do a show at the Norva.
I run this city, Shag.
Do the show at the Norva. Charge $2 a ticket. I don't want your money. Charge $2 a ticket. You should be able to sell 1,500. I mean, there's 1.4 million people in Hampton Roads. If you can't sell 1,500 tickets to the Norva at $2 a ticket, what are we discussing? Nah, man, you don't understand. You got to, people. I'm like, bro, this is not my problem. My son, who's 12, could sell 1,500 tickets to the Norva. He's not even a rapper. So my question to any artist watching this is, instead of asking for Pharrell and these guys to co-sign you, why isn't the Norva being sold out every weekend by local artists? Why?
Well, I think from the people that I see, well, first of all, this past, let's say, year or two in the 757, there haven't been that many shows where people perform at. It's mainly been DJs. Like, DJs have been running the scene.
Right.
And I talked to, like, Traptastic, Social Supply, which is, like, arguably our biggest DJ crews right now that are throwing the...
Didn't you just have...
I actually had Rod from Traptastic and Cam and
Cam's my guy
Ivan
from
for Social
Social
Supply in the past like month.
Yeah.
But they're the biggest brands right now that are consistently throwing the best shows, and people are showing up, selling out. But even they tell me like the Norva is a little out of their reach. That's the next level. Like they can maybe sell it out, but even like
that's my
the creative community out here, and by community I mean the people that like want to go out and experience it, like the fans, the core fan base. It's not that big. And I'm always thinking the same thing as you. Like, like that was my literal thing. Like, it's millions of people in this area. I don't think we figured out the proper way to reach them yet. And I had a conversation with Carrie Ann. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, from Norfolk. Her and Charlie.
Yeah. So she was kind of breaking it down to me like, yeah, there is a lot of people, but that number gets smaller and smaller when you think about the people that will actually like come out and want to be a part of it.
No. Come out and support it.
Come out, support, but it's like that number gets smaller because like some of those people are babies.
Okay.
Some of those people are 70 years old.
But when I tell
some
you,
of those people don't like that type of music.
But what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell everybody watching, if the product is there, they will come. There's a reason they sell 1,500 tickets to a Taylor Swift party at the Norva. So, and Taylor Swift's not there. They're just playing her music. Okay? So don't tell me that you can't do it. I've done it. I've done more sold out shows at the Norva for local artists than probably anybody watching this podcast. It can be done. The problem is the money. I can make more money doing it at my friend's club than I can spending it doing it at a bigger venue and taking a risk.
Rod did tell me something like that. He was like, sometimes when you go to these like little bigger venues, the return is not as much.
Right. So what are we doing it for? We're doing it for the money. Or we're doing it for the culture? That's the question. So when I tell local artists all the time, I don't owe you shit. I don't owe you shit. If you can't put your money and go sell out the Norva for your show, what are you talking about? And you go, well, I sold out Back Bay Brewing Company. I'm like, how many is that? 175? What? 175 people? Like, what are we talking about?
That's a PTA meeting.
Bro, but that's what I'm saying. That's what frustrates me about this area. They don't understand. And then I come across as like a hater. I'm not hating. I did Shag Fest for 10 years. I put more local artists on the biggest stage in Virginia than anybody else, period. I stopped last year because I got tired.
Oh, Shag Fest is done.
Just for a minute. Okay. I got tired. More local artists have been on the amphitheater stage than anybody else off of Shag Fest. But I got tired of people questioning like when, where, why, what. I'm thinking, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, yes, I could throw a party right now at the bowling alley down the street and sell it out. Right now at the bowling alley. And do what? Make a grip? Go to the amphitheater. 20,000 people.
Like people are trying to like skip the steps.
Put your money up. If you believe in the culture and you believe in your brand, put your money up. Period. Or if you don't and you're just trying to make a quick buck and you want to throw a dope show, then do it. But don't blame everybody else. Don't blame everybody else.
I guess while we're talking about the scene, like how do you look at our scene right now? Kind of just the evolution of it.
I love it.
In these past 24 years. Like a lot of people I speak to that have been around for a while, they say that it's like at the best place it's ever been.
It. Yeah, agreed. I mean, like to get to a point where, you know, I mean, when I was DJing, you were labeled a DJ. Like if you walked in and you played this, you were this. Now you can go in any club at any point, dress any way you want and play whatever you want, and everyone's gonna have a good time. Like I believe the scene itself, I think the one thing we're missing is like true dance clubs again. Because I do think that there needs to be more places where people
you got Eagles Nest.
Yeah, but I feel like the whole like just going out and like feeling like you could listen to like one song would be like AC/DC and the next song would be Wu-Tang. Like that's what I grew up on. So I do think we're missing like that weird niche of a vibe. But nah, man, I think Hampton Roads, and especially Virginia Beach, I think we've come so far, and I'm happy where we are.
I do have a question about. We're talking about Pharrell.
Yeah.
So I did a podcast with Chaz Tuesdays.
Yeah,
a few weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that because I think like right before that he did a.
He came to my station.
Him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that came out. I never seen that, or it was just on the radio.
Yeah, no, it came on. It was on the radio. I don't post videos because I suck.
Oh, so none of your stuff like interviews on the radio are like available online.
It's all online. Yeah.
It is.
It probably. I don't know. I suck at all this
but
stuff.
Chaz was like that. You told him that you were in the studio when they recorded "Drop It Like It's Hot." I was like, bro, I need the backstory to that.
So I was there. I was there for a few songs. So Drop It Like It's Hot was crazy. Because so Pharrell starts to work on it. So there used to be, all right, so and this was in Virginia Beach. So when Pharrell would work in the main room, Chad would be upstairs, okay? So Chad would come in later, Pharrell would be in the main room, and then we would all play Madden, okay? Like in this next room, and we would all like pretty much leave Pharrell alone. And then he would bang on the window, and we would all go in there and listen to stuff. I'm talking like, when I say the crew was like maybe 8 to 10 people.
They said like was it Star Trek Studios?
Yeah, so it was in Virginia Beach off of Prince Anne Road. And it was right beside Timberland's. So Timberland's studio was like, bro, it was like a cul-de-sac. It was like Pharrell and Chad's studio was here and Timberland was here. It was crazy.
What was Timberland's called?
Thomas Crown. It's still here.
Okay.
Yeah, he just sold it to, I forget who he sold it to. And so we hear Drop It Like It's Hot. And it was for Snoop Dogg for the whole time. And I remember hearing the song and I'm sitting there and he's looking around and Pharrell makes this face when he's really excited that even if you don't feel the song, you have to like get excited for him because he's like a kid in a candy store. Like he just created like the evil genius masterpiece. And I remember there's been songs in the past I heard, I was like, I don't hear it because I'm not a producer. But when I heard Drop It Like Hot first time, I like lost my fucking mind. Now, I thought it was for Jay-Z because he was working on another song for Jay-Z at the time.
Oh, so you were there when he produced the beat.
Yes.
So you didn't hear like when Snoop recorded it.
No.
Like,
So Snoop didn't so to my knowledge, and it's a long time ago, Snoop didn't record it in Virginia Beach. It was sent away and came back.
Oh, this when he produced it.
So when the song came out, though, this is a true story. I'm at Peabody's, okay? It was on a weekend. And the owner comes upstairs and goes, hey, Pharrell's across the street in his Phantom asking for you. Now, this is 06, 07, so Pharrell is, he's top of the mountain. So I go downstairs and Pharrell's in his Phantom.
Outside of Peabody's.
Outside of Peabody's. Okay? And I go, what's up? He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm hosting. He gets out of his car on the strip. He gets out of his Phantom. Like, bro, Virginia Beach, like, doesn't park it, doesn't go into like a parking lot. He gets out, starts walking across the parking lot, like, what are you doing? He's like, let's go inside. So we walk inside Peabody's on
Leaves the Phantom outside. There's also a parking lot right next to it.
He
Like,
parks,
why wouldn't you just pull into the parking lot?
Listen, and like I said, he leaves it right there. He walks inside, and Peabody's has, at this time, it's a Friday, Saturday night. There's like, I'm not kidding you, 800-900 people in there. And I walk up to my brother, who was DJing, and I said, yo, remember the song I sent you like 2 nights ago, that new Snoop Dogg? And he's like, yeah. I was like, play. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, he plays it. And the beat, da-doof, da-doof, da-doof. And Pharrell walks on stage and takes his shirt off and performs Drop It Like It's Hot. I think the first or second weekend it ever came out on stage at Peabody's in front of the entire crowd. Song gets done. He puts his shirt back on and goes to his car and drives away.
That's so funny.
I swear to God.
Did the crowd know the song at the time?
So they knew so they heard it before. I think because it was premiered on TRL. Dude, this is so long ago. So I think it was on TRL Carson Daly.
What if he went out and his car was towed?
No. So here's the funny thing. So they tried to tow it.
Towing a Phantom is crazy.
No, so they tried to tow it, but the owner, Brandon Ramsey, shot to him. He stopped them. He's like, no. Pharrell's inside. And remember, this is like, not saying like Virginia Beach didn't love Pharrell, but this was like different. Like now Pharrell can like cough in Virginia Beach and they're going to catch it. Like back then they were like, I don't care. But, and I remember after he leaves, I remember getting a text message from him. He was like, yo, what do you think the crowd thought? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you have the biggest record in the country and you just came on stage and like performed it like for free. Like those shit was insane.
That's so fire. I actually got my car towed in Virginia Beach like last month outside the Papa John's by
Duck Dive?
Duck Dive.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
Bro, I got my car towed. That's my second time in my life getting my car towed. The first time I was so pissed that I literally started a petition to try to change the law. Cause like,
how'd that go for you?
It didn't work. I got like 30, 40 signatures, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. What's the law change? What are you trying to do?
Well, because I was trying to change the law. Honestly, it makes sense to me still. I might try to start a new one, but it's like, if you get your car towed, they pretty much own your car if you don't pay that $200.
Absolutely.
So if they would have towed Pharrell's Phantom and he didn't want to pay $200, they would have had a Phantom for $200.
Yeah. I think he would have got more signatures though.
Definitely would have. But my point is, like, I want to change the law to, like, okay, like, give me my car and send me a bill to my house. If I go to the dentist, if I can go to the doctor and get life-saving care and get a bill sent to my house, why does a tow truck driver need the money up front? That just doesn't make sense to me.
That's crazy.
Okay. Last question I really have is, on that same interview with Danielle I was mentioning, she was asking you about the, like, pros and cons of, like, being on the radio. And one of your cons was you can never have a bad day.
Yeah,
like, you kind of have to be in high spirits, like when people are listening to. So really, it's like, any tips or like how do you look at just balancing like real life with being on air and kind of just that balance. No,
it's true. So like, I was married 15 years together for 17, and my wife left me. My ex-wife left me, and I went on the radio for 5 days a week for 9.5 months with no one knowing. Like me and the kids, like the whole nine. So no one knew. No one had any idea. So there was like this weird level of professionalism that you have to know, like the average person that gets in their car, that turns on a radio station, they're not coming to you because even though they love you, they're coming to you because they need you to make them laugh or to like pick them up. So like me coming on the radio and acting like I'm in a bad mood or sad or angry.
People don't care.
People don't care. They can love you as much as they want. So like you have to like just kind of go, you know what? I got them for 15 minutes. If I can just change their 15 minutes of making them smile or happy, I've done my job. That's my job. This is what I do. Now, the beauty of it though is in 8 or 9 months when you are able to tell your story of what you've been through, then the listeners love you even more because they're like, wow.
You got through it.
You got through it. We didn't know, and look what you've done. So it's tough.
Is it professionalism or is it like, are you like disassociating from it? Does doing this allow you to like get your mind off of it?
Correct. That's a good way to put it. I told my boss the other day, doing my radio show saved my sanity from what I went through in 2023, 2024. You know, because it was like literally like 5 days a week work, my kids, and then lawyers. And if I didn't have the outlet of going on the radio and being funny and letting all that go, I don't know exactly what I would have done. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I think it does help.
Okay. So you just signed a 3-year new deal. I guess really last question. What do you see yourself doing after this? Do you
Run
have
for mayor.
Any other goals?
Virginia Beach.
Really?
Yeah.
I was at the conversation that Gabe had with the mayor, Dyer.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, too, what's up with Something in the Water? You're friends with Pharrell. He's been getting a lot of flack from the Virginia Beach. Is it maybe the mayor, actually?
Yeah.
They're saying Something in the Water might not happen. I think they sent them some letter of like
5-day deadline or something.
Yeah, some deadline. Is Something in the Water going to happen?
You know, I'm never going to gamble against Pharrell, ever. Like, Pharrell will be the first person to live on Mars. I would never give Pharrell a deadline. Like, to me, Bobby's a friend of mine. And when I say friend of mine, I mean, like, I could go to dinner with him. But Pharrell's a friend. To give Pharrell a ultimatum or a deadline of something he doesn't need, like, Pharrell doing something in water does not make or break him. The city of Virginia Beach needs it. We love it.
Also, I think every Something in the Water that's happened, they drop the tickets without the lineup even being available.
Yeah, like,
and
bro,
people still
listen. I tell people all the time, like, every racial human that doesn't want Something in the Water because they just don't like Pharrell, they're dumb. Pharrell could literally announce that the show's coming tomorrow and tickets could sell on Saturday. He's going to sell 30,000 tickets and then announce the lineup 2 weeks later. No one's going to care because it's Pharrell. He's going to get who he wants. The problem is the city is trying to appease both sides. A bunch of city citizens are saying, we got to play by these rules. So they're trying to do the politics of it. But again, if Pharrell told the city of Virginia Beach tomorrow, and I'm not saying he will, Something in the Water's not coming back because you did this, who loses?
The city.
The city and us. Pharrell, I'm not to be mean, Pharrell's going to be in Tokyo tomorrow or Belgium or wherever he's going to be. You know, so like, why give this man an ultimatum when Pharrell could do Something in the Water in London tomorrow? He's the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Has a movie about Virginia Beach made out of Legos. And you're going to give him a 5-day deadline of a concert? He had Jay-Z on the beach in 2018 or 19. We're going to give him a 5-day deadline?
Beyonce was walking around somewhere too.
Buddy, we're going to give him a 5-day deadline.
She's on the beach.
Like in 2019 or 2020 before COVID, he had Post Malone was coming to the like, what are we talking about? And this is not me being a Pharrell homer, but we're not talking about, bro, his face is on the side of a wave park. Like, why are we giving him a 5-day deadline? Why? Because some certain citizens are mad. You don't need your money. You don't need it. So It is what it is. People call me a Pharrell homo all they want. I don't care. I just know, like, if someone came to me and said, hey, we're going to give you 5 days to come wash my car, I'm like, well, I don't really care to wash your car. I guess I won't do it. You're going to give him 5 days to say yes or no to a concert that you asked him to do? You did. He didn't ask for it.
Hell yeah.
So,
Shaggy?
fuck it. Give him the 5-day deadline, and then me and Pharrell go
I got to have more faith in Pharrell, man.
Listen, don't count that dude out.
Yeah, never.
Don't count that dude out.
I legit enjoyed the Lego movie too, piece by piece.
Yeah.
I was legit inspired. Also, it's funny. I guess you guys had the same person gave you guys a break.
Teddy Riley. Yeah. I mean, listen, dude. Teddy Riley he's the godfather of all this all, man. Like, I'm watching that movie with my kids, and like I'm in tears because like so much of it I saw unfold. Here's a really good story. I'll let you go. Excuse Me, Miss Remix. Remember that song by Jay-Z? The boom, boom, mid bleep, be spoken at la la la. That record was for Pusha. Okay? So Pharrell produces that whole song. It came out on the Biker Boys soundtrack, the movie. He produced the whole song. He tells Pusha, I got your next single. Plays the record. Push's like, nah, that's not it. Pharrell's like, what? He's like, that's not. He's like, yo, if you don't do it, I'm gonna send it to him. And Push says no, and I'm in the studio. He calls Jay-Z, sends Jay-Z the Excuse Me, Miss Remix beat, and then Jay-Z records it at night and sends it out. And that's a fact. That beat was made for Pusha. The Excuse Me, Miss Remix.
That was in the movie, I think, though, right?
The original, with Jay-Z. The remix with Jay-Z is faster. It was on the Biker Boys 2 soundtrack. But that remix was really for Push.
Come on. I love it. Appreciate you, Shaggy.
Sure.
Thank you so much. This was fire. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to lead the people with?
No.
I'm excited to see what this gift is.
Oh, do you want me to tell you what the gift is? Or
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I have a skate deck. It kind of looks like this one right here. It's a skate deck that's a Shag Fest skate deck, and it's signed by Pharrell. So I have it at my house, and I'll send you a photo when I get home. I'm gonna gift it to you. But you can't buy it. I only got 4 of them made. I got one. The Coastal Edge has one because they were our sponsor, and then I gave one to my son, and then I have another one in my living room. So I literally have it. It says Pharrell's. It's Pharrell's signature, and it's a Shag Fest skate deck.
You see, we have another Pharrell piece in the studio right here. This was Art Sadie's did this.
It's dope.
Yeah.
But it's a custom.
Need that in the studio. That's going up.
I'm gonna text it to you when I get home. So
I
you know
will not
real.
sell it.
No.
If I lose the house,
no, but
I don't care.
But it's super dope.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, man.
It's love.
This was fire. If you're watching this, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Catch Shaggy on Z104 every day in the morning.
Yeah, 5:30 till 10, Monday through Friday.
Hell yeah. See you guys soon. Peace.